Hello, good day everyone. My name is John Olis. I'm the CEO of Red Diamond Properties Limited. In today's Facebook Live session, which I also put on my YouTube channel, I'll be ending my discussion on the 17 things that differentiate the rich from the poor. In the previous broadcast, I've shared the first to the 12. Today, I'm going to be sharing the 13th to the 17th. And these posts are from my Wealth ARM post, Wealth ARM. It's an acronym for Wealth Acquisition, Retention, and Multiplication. I believe everybody, to a very great extent, wants to live a financially comfortable life. Nobody ideally wants to live a beggarly life. No one ideally wants to live a life where they have to struggle before they can afford the basic needs of life. So it's very important that we understand how wealth works and what differentiates the rich from the poor. And you see, the rich do not have two heads. They do certain things that bring them certain results. So the 13th thing I'm going to be sharing that differentiates the rich from the poor is that the rich have focus, while the poor, to a very great extent, do not have. The rich have focus. Somebody said focus is an acronym for follow one course until successful. Let me come again. It means follow one course until successful. So that means that you may be able to do so many things, right? But because you want to achieve something, you focus on one thing. That's one thing that the rich are known for. They have the ability to have laser focus, pursue one thing, build a brand in it before they now move to other things. Dr. Stephen Akintayo, chairman of GTEx Holding, in his book Billionaire Secret, shares his view on this. He said, take Bill Gates for instance. Bill Gates, you know him, is one of the richest in the world, became a billionaire at a very young age, I think in his 20s, 30s, was the co-founder of Microsoft, and is a billionaire today. But people just know him basically from Microsoft. But little do people know that he owns over 100 businesses. In fact, it's on record that Bill Gates is the largest owner of private farmland in the US, having up to 270,000 acres. So he has other businesses now, up to 100. But what people do not realize is that when he was starting, he focused on Microsoft for about 20 years. Built it into a successful brand, built it into a successful company before doing other things. So that's focus there. Let's look also at someone like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, Amazon CEO, right? Focus on Amazon, built it for so many years before stepping out about 2-3 years ago to pursue his passion in Blue Origin, his spacecraft company. But now he has come back to Amazon because of the way AI is going. But he has focused on it. Let's even come down here to Nigeria. Aliko Dangote. When he started, he focused on Dangote Sugar, right? Then when he succeeded, he now moved to other things. So you see, the way to become wealthy is not to be a jack of all trades or to do so many businesses. The way to become wealthy is get one thing you're good at. Focus on it. Let people know you for it. Let people know you for it. Build it 5, 10, 15 years, as long as it takes for it to be successful and become a brand. When it becomes like that, then you can move to other things. See, the good thing about that is that once you are successful in one thing, you have scaled it, made it successful, other people, investors, can buy into your vision because they know once you've succeeded in one thing, you will succeed in another thing. So look at Dangote now. He has succeeded in Dangote Sugar, right? He went over to Dangote Cement, success. Refinery now, he's building it, even though they're in operation now, he's building it to be successful because she has shown that track record. So that's one way to be wealthy, or that's another thing that differentiates the rich from the poor. While the poor, they lack focus, they just do everything at once. They advance multiple streams of business. Multiple streams of business, as true as it is not the way to become wealthy. The The way to become wealthy is to focus on one business and build a brand. It's now multiplying wealth, replicating wealth that now has to do with having multiple streams of business. But when you want to become wealthy, you focus on one thing. As I said, the poor do not know this and they spread themselves thin, pushing different businesses. And if they fail in one, it affects their momentum in other, putting in their time, putting in their energy, putting in their resources, trying to pursue after their goals, right? And when they don't get it, they lose hope and they are like, business is a scam. It doesn't work. No, the reason why they didn't get the success they were looking for was because they spread themselves thin. They spread themselves thin. So if they had just stayed on one thing and built it, they would have made more progress or succeeded in business. Number 14 thing that differentiates the rich from the poor is this. In my note, I stated that the rich know how to leverage the ability of others, while the poor do not know. John D. Rockefeller, one of the wealthiest men, if not the world's wealthiest man in the 20th century, paraphrasing what he said, I would rather have 1% of 100 people rather than have 100% of myself. He understood the power of leverage. Successful people, rich people, are not lone rangers. They are team players. They know that there is a limit to how far they can go in life. There's a limit to how much they can achieve in life if they try to go alone. Therefore, they work with teams. They are secure people. Somebody has said that the word team is an acronym for together, everyone achieves more. So the wealthy work with teams and they can be able to get the insight from other people. They work with people smarter than them. They work with people better than them. The wealthy are self-secure. They know that what they are doing is what they are good at and best at. And they bring in the contribution of other people to support them in their vision. They bring the contribution of other people to support them in their vision. So they understand the power of leverage. Leverage is latching onto the abilities of others, whether things or persons, in order to get what you want done. So they understand the power of leverage. That's why they have network. That's why they work with different people. But the poor, to a very great extent, they are lone rangers. They work alone. They work alone. They work alone and they cannot achieve much. So there's a limit to which you can do all by yourself. Because no matter how good you are, everything you see in life to a very great extent is from your perspective. Everything you see in life is limited to your exposure, to your education, to your experiences. So when you're working alone with your thought, not getting the input of others, there's a limit to progress you can make in life. So the rich understand the power of leverage and they leverage the ability of others while the poor do not. So to be wealthy, another thing that you need to do is understand the power of leverage and work with it. So I'm going to number 15. The 15th thing that differentiates the rich from the poor is that the rich have a budget while the poor do not. A budget is simply a plan of how you want to expend your resources. Many people think that because the rich are rich, they spend money anyhow. That's why some poor people think the rich are very stingy. They say, because you are rich, you owe us the duty to take care of us. Stephen Akintayo shared the story. It's somebody I admire so much. Real estate billionaire. He says it's because he came from a humble background and is now wealthy. People now think that he owes them that duty to always take care of them. But he tells them, see, I don't have money at some point in time. And they're like, but you're wealthy. He said, no, my budget for giving this month has been exhausted. Wait until another month. So the rich work with budget because they know they didn't become wealthy by accident. Budget has to do with having a plan on how you want to spend your money and being disciplined. The rich stick to their budget. They are very, very meticulous. They stick to their budget. They stick to their plan. They don't just buy things on the spur of the moment. If it's not within their budget, they shelve it out. While for the poor, they either don't have a budget, or if they have a budget, they are too lazy to follow it or to abide by it. Because it's not just about having a budget. As good as having a budget is, if you don't stick to it, it won't work. You see, plans are only as good as they are executed. So the rich have a budget, they stick to it. The poor just don't have a budget. Even if they have a budget, they do not live by it. Let me rush to the next one, which is the 16th one. What differentiates the rich from the poor? Number 16 is that the rich live outside their comfort zone, while the poor love their comfort zone. The rich live outside their comfort zone, and poor love their comfort zone. Comfort zone is where things are easy for you. Comfort zone has to do with the area where you are so comfortable, where things are at ease, where you are you just feel so relaxed. But you see, when you're building wealth, you need to know that wealth and comfort do not go together. They're like oil and water. Wealth and uncertainty go together. Living your comfort zone, doing what is unpleasant, doing what is uneasy, just because you want to get what you want. And please just give me a minute. I want to read a quote by one of the people I referenced in my book. And this quote is by Steven Siebold, the author of the book, How Rich People Think. In his words, he said, world-class thinkers learn early on that becoming a millionaire isn't easy, right? And the need for comfort can be devastating. He ended by saying, they learn to be comfortable while operating in a state of ongoing certainty. So the journey to wealth requires living your comfort zone. Look at Elon Musk, for instance. Building PayPal to a successful company, right? And he sold it. And the millions he got, he put it back into business, setting up SpaceX, using it to buy shares in Tesla, which he now owns. And it has not been easy. It has not been easy. He left his comfort zone. But the poor love to be in their comfort zone. And wealth and comfort zone do not go together. Because you need to know many of the wealthy people did the seemingly impossible, went beyond what was thought possible, and they've gotten it. If wealth used to come in your comfort zone, everybody in this world will be wealthy. So for the poor, let's see what Steven Siebold said about them. He said physical, psychological, and emotional comfort is the primary goal of middle-class mindset. So I now ended by saying that even if you show the poor what it takes for them to become wealthy, many of them will not want to leave their comfort zone. Now you need to realize many of the people who are wealthy today were not born into wealth. They are first generation wealthy people, of the likes of Elon Musk, to the likes of Jeff Bezos, to the life of Bill Gates. They were not born into wealth, right? So they built it from scratch. So they left their comfort zone. So if you want to be wealthy, you need to become comfortable with discomfort. For me as a realtor, it has not been easy. I'm in my third year doing real estate in my company, Red Diamond Properties Limited. And it has not been easy. I left the comfort of my 9 to 5 as a legal practitioner. I was having stable salary. I was having that stable source of income at the end of the month. But the life of an entrepreneur has not been easy. Now, I'm not here to come and tell you stories that are not true. I am still in the journey. In my real estate journey, I've made sales in the last 2 years of over 160 million, right? But there are some days we have the money, there are some days we are flat out broke. Sorry, a call came in. So we keep on showing up every day. It's not easy. It's not always easy. But we keep on showing up. We keep on doing what we have to do irrespective of how we feel. The temptation is there to go back to a full-time paid employment. There's nothing wrong with a full-time paid employment. But for the dreams I have, for the goals I want to achieve, it requires my leaving my comfort zone to achieve what I want. I've not gotten there. I'm still in the journey. But I know that I will get it. Because one way to be wealthy is to simply do what wealthy people do. It's something that is highly replicatable. Now, I would like to share on the last thing that differentiates the rich from the poor, which is this, that the rich think long term, while the poor think short term. The rich know that the wealth or the journey to wealth is like a marathon. A marathon is different from a sprint. The skills needed to succeed in a sprint are different from a marathon. To be successful in a marathon, it's not necessarily how fast, but you need skills like perseverance. You need pacing skills. You need consistency, right? So the wealthy know that wealth is a long-term journey. So they keep on putting the work, building the network, putting in the job needed, the readings, the meeting of people, the doing, setting out to do something, failing, and coming back and continuing it because they know it's a long-term journey. While for the poor are so passionate about get rich quick. That's why many times it's the poor people who are scammed. I read this book, The Rules of Wealth by Richard Templar. I'm paraphrasing what he said. He says, don't believe in get rich quick schemes because you need to know that those schemes, somebody is going to get rich, but it's not you. It's the person who is having the scheme that is defrauding you that will get rich, not you. So you need to know that wealth is a journey. Grant Cardone, American billionaire, is in his 60s, made sales in real estate, owns $1 billion real estate company. He shares his story. He didn't just become that. For his first property that he got, he had to save for about 5 years, $5,000 every year before he could get the down payment to buy the house. Today he's a billionaire. He understood or he understands that wealth is a journey. So ladies and gentlemen, my viewers, here's where I draw the curtain on the 17 things that differentiate the rich from the poor. Now, as I conclude, I would like to say this. Nobody has it all. Everybody wants a good life. But you see, the circumstances of our birth do not predispose us to that. If that were to be it, everybody would want to be born into a rich family, a wealthy family, a family where everything is already easy, where you don't have to work so hard to get it. But we didn't choose that. We didn't even choose the country we want to be born into. By being born into some countries, you already have some advantages over others. They have social welfare and the like. But for some other countries, you do not have that. But you see, you need to know that the journey to wealth or becoming wealthy is not discriminatory. If you follow the principles, you are going to get it. And when I'm going to summarize everything I've been saying over the last few months is in this word. Wealth has to do with doing certain things. Ultimately, the difference between the rich and the poor is that the rich know what the poor do not know. Secondly, the rich go ahead to do what the poor do not do. Or such people, they may know what the rich know, but they fail to now do it. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my desire for you to be wealthy. It's my desire for you to live a life of financial comfort. It's my desire for you to be able to help others with your resources. And the way I add value to you is by telling you the way it is done. This is a product of research. This is a product of some personal little successes that I have encountered that give me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Remember, wealth is a product of doing, knowledge and doing, knowledge and doing, knowing and doing. So it's my desire for you that to practice these principles I've stated in this video and in my other past video, you'll become wealthy. And not just become wealthy for yourself, you use your wealth to add value to people, use your wealth to touch life and empower generation. Thank you so very much for taking out time to be with me. My name is John Odis. I'm the CEO of Red Diamond Properties Limited. I do everything real estate, from land sales to house sales, to property management, to short let management, and the likes. You can contact me on +234 813 799 0792. This is John Olisa telling you, have a wonderful day and bye.